Okay, we've got a 2011 Mitsubishi Lancer and overheating issues, and we've got, if we can look over here, you will actually see right along here, cracked tank. Alright, so why am I making this video? Have a look at that radiator. That radiator, once upon a time, back in the late 70s, used to be made of metal. These tubes, these tanks here used to be metal. The fins in between were still made out of aluminium, or as the Yanks say, aluminum. So how a radiator works, we have a tank, in between tubes with fins in between, okay? Coolant comes through the tank, comes along the tubes, and then these little fins here actually conduct the heat out, hence radiate the heat, hence a radiator. Why do you need a radiator? Well, an engine runs over 300 degrees Celsius in the combustion chamber, and it's got to be cooled. So we need to cool this down to around 95, 98, maybe even 105 degrees Celsius. Now, the point of this video is this. That radiator is only worth to replace maybe 300, 500, 700 dollars. But if you don't replace these things, you'll cook the engine. Now you've got a problem. 2011 Mitsubishi Lancer. If you do a head gasket, you're going to either have to put another motor in it, or a reconditioned motor, or you're going to have to do the head, which then may have problems with the bottom end. So we're now got a lot of cars now around the 2011 era that the value is only around $5,000-6,000. Okay, maybe $8,000 if you're lucky. So a car that's around 11, 12 years old, you'll be lucky to get about $7,000-8,000. Now, if you have a blown head gasket, and if the motor's stuffed, even if you put a second-hand motor, you're still going to be looking around $3,500, $4,000. You're still going to have to get the radiator. You're still going to have to get that. So what's the point I'm trying to get at? Is that we've got a lot of cars now that, unless you look after them, unless you invest in them, like a new radiator, I recommend a new radiator every 100,000 Ks and every 10 years. Now, this is well and truly past that. Now, for a few $100, preventative maintenance, a new radiator, fresh coolant, hoses, check the fans, make sure the fans are going, they burn out too. That's these things over here. Anything that rotates wears. Let me take that away from this message. These fans actually burn out too, and they can cause a lot of problems. So the point is, if you've got a car that's over 10 years old, that's done 150,000 Ks plus, strongly recommend a new radiator. So if you buy a second-hand car, ask the question, not only has the timing been done, has the radiator been replaced? So we'll put a new one in here. Hopefully the engine's okay. But like I said, if you don't do this, if you don't invest in your car, if you don't put a radiator in it, put new fans in it, all that, then if you do blow a head gasket, you can virtually have to write the car off. And that's the scenario we're in now. I've had a lot of car people now that just can't be bothered spending money on an old car. So what are they going to do? They go and hop, and cars aren't cheap, 30 grand. So, or they do the worst thing you can do and go and buy a shit friggin' Chinese EV. Now that's another story. Don't start me there. So, if you've got an old car, it's delusional to think that you can have a good, reliable old car without investing in it. Put some money in it, get new radiators, get new fans, timing belt, all that. Keep investing in your car. Even though the car's not worth that much, its value of driving you around safely and all that is. So you've got yourself a good car. But you can't have an old car without investing in it, because it will let you down. Anyway, enough of me jabbering on, jibber jabber and all that. I just thought I'd pass some loving. All right, everyone have a good Christmas. That's good. I'll do that. Okay, one of the things that can be possibly overlooked is a pressure cap. So I've got a pressure cap connected to an adapter to my gauge, and I'm just trying to do this, and look at that. That should be holding pressure, and it's slowly creeping down. So that cap is actually faulty, which possibly could have caused our problem. So we'll replace that, see how we go. Rightio, so we have replaced that cap with a brand spanking new, and have a look at that. That's holding pressure. Now, why do you need pressure? Well, it stabilizes the heat. Without any pressure onto the cooling system there, you just get hotter and hotter and hotter. Okay, that is a gradual little bit of heat, but that's stabilized. So 10 psi is pretty good. And yeah, so we had a faulty cap. Now, was that the problem? Maybe, maybe not, but it certainly didn't help. So in everything you do, you've got to check everything. And my next test, you'll see what I mean. Oh, these cars now, they don't have temperature gauges. Isn't that wonderful now? So you don't know how hot the car is. So this is where you need to connect up a scanner and look at your data. So as you can see here, as I said to you before, we're running about 89 degrees Celsius, okay, which is pretty average. So if we put our foot on the accelerator and probably bring it up to 90, 93, what are we now? I think I should wear glasses. Oh, I am wearing glasses. I still can't see. It's terrible when you get old. Alright, so we're up to about 90. Fuel trim's negative, closed loop, 3 grand. Now, we need a scanner, we need data. Okay, 92. And those thermo fans, hypothetically, those fans are on, and now they're coming off. Okay, so what does that tell me? It tells me now the fans are cycling on and off at around 89, 90 degrees, which is a little bit cool. It also tells me my thermostat that we replaced before is working. So this car is working well. Now when I put the air conditioning on, also both fans come back on. So this tells me we've got a fix. The only thing left is just to let everything cool down, pressure test it again, make sure there's no leaks. And yeah. So a bit of a run through on a cooling system repair and service. Okay, a bit to it, isn't it? It's not just a matter of draining coolant and just filling it up, or